to do this training for a lot of people who didn't read it, and the importance of a lot of stuff that we do with our clients every single week. A lot of stuff that you have to know, a lot of stuff that you have to have when your mindset, your mentality, to help you increase your personal pen. Because once you learn things like this, your personal pen is swiping left and right everywhere, So before we do, I lost it. Oh man, we had to vote. It was on there. I lost it, but all good to go. I'm gonna share my screen here really quick and let me know when you guys get a chance to see it. That is not it. It's not what I wanted. Let me back out of here. Give me 1 second.
On YouTube?
A PowerPoint is frozen. Interesting. It's frozen. It won't move. It's just stuck. Let's see if we get back out of here. Gotta love technology, boy. I just want to freeze up right in the middle of me trying to share the screen. It's just frozen stuck. Give me 1 second. Share my screen. Cool. So can you make me host again, Mr. Molina? So I believe that's why. So I lost access to host. Can you make me host, sir? Appreciate you. Cool. So let me share this really quick and we'll be good to go. Let me know if you guys can see my screen.
Yeah.
You good, Joe?
Okay, cool. So let me share this here. Share my slides. So this is the wrong one. The one I actually wanted to share is frozen. So it might be a little discombobulated. Work with me, but I think I fixed it. I think it's good to go. So I'm gonna go over conceptual selling and the power of zero. If you guys read this book was crazy. This is why I have so much confidence in the field. This is why I have so much confidence when I sit down with clients who are 50, 60, 70 years old. This is why I had confidence when I sit down with people with annuities, because I'm reading this book, The Power of Zero. So if you really want to understand finances, you really want to understand our products and services, you really want to understand how we're able to bring value to the clients, different, not even talking about insurance, but talking about finances in general, because we are financial professionals. That's what happened to sell life insurance. So I'm gonna go over conceptual selling really quick with you guys, and we're gonna dive right into it. The first thing that I wanted to go over with you was who's the author? The guy, Brian McKnight. Sorry, David McKnight. I do this every single time. Brian McKnight, I start thinking about that one. All right, cool. So the name of the author is David McKnight. He actually went to BYU, I went to University of Utah. He went to BYU, which is crazy. So if I ever met the guy, we would already have some competition going on, because that's our rivals. He was the president of the Power of Zero marketing and program. I definitely liked his story. I read a little bit about him and what he did with his presidency, his company, where he's going, BYU. Pretty interesting dude. But how do you sell to your clients? For anybody that's looking to make some money, you definitely want to tune in on this one. Anybody looking to make 10,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 in a month, this is a great way to sit down with clients and get big points on your policies, So the first off is conceptual selling. Conceptually selling. We do this all the time. If you sit down, if you either do the hustle or if you either do the crusade, we are conceptually selling people on products and services, conceptually selling. Consumers don't want to come into a field training and buy anything. If you ever had a client that just sat down, or somebody who did a field training, they're automatically like, before we get started, I want to buy something. Please unmute yourself, because I don't know if it happens. Because if it does, I'm like, what type of field training did you set up? But no, we conceptually sell during field trainings. The most successful sales people understand what the prospect hopes to accomplish with the product. Okay, so let me give an example. There's straightforward selling and there's conceptual selling. What's straightforward selling? Straightforward selling is basically you go to a car lot and you have a car. So you got a 1999 Buick and you go to the car lot to get what? A brand new car. So it's straightforward selling. They're not going to sit here and conceptually sell you because you already want the car. And then there's conceptual sales. This is what we work with the most, conceptual sales. What's their need and how can we help them achieve it in the future? And clearly I can't spell it, so please just give it. Oh, this is the wrong one. Exactly. Okay, cool. So I fixed everything and then they got frozen. I was like, cool, I can't spell it. For all the people that's staring at it right now, I'm sure I know a few people like, oh, he spelled it wrong. So cool. How to conceptually sell and then straightforward selling. So taxes are going up. We definitely love what is happening in America today because all it's going to do, AKA in the future, is increase our taxes, by the way. So taxes are definitely going to be increasing. When accounts like 401ks and Roth IRAs grow from your retirement account, so does Uncle Sam's cut. So for everyone who has a 401k, independent retirement account, as it's accumulating and growing money, so is Uncle Sam. So all they're doing is licking their chops. When you get more money, they get more money. Uncle Sam can increase his or her portion when he feels when he wants to. That's the beauty about Uncle Sam and the IRS. They can accumulate and increase taxes whenever they want to. We've had federal income taxes at rates of 90% to the dollar, 90% to the dollar. So from 1934 to 1981, the top federal income tax rate has never gone below 70%. So from 1934 to 1981, people were paying 70% taxes, which is crazy, So do you think that can happen again? 100%. The Tax Reform Act in 1986 dropped it to 28%. So thank you to the Tax Reform Act, which dropped our taxes to 28%. So we're no longer paying 70%. 70% is basically this. You make $1, Uncle Sam gets 70% of it. How would you feel about that? From 1934 to 1981, how would you feel about that? Like imagine making $1 and you only get 30 cents. Can you live? Nobody can live off of that. So then we have the Tax Reform Act 1986, dropped it to 28%, and that began in 1988. Higher taxes mean less money for retirement. That's all that it really means. And taxes are increasing, of course. Oh, why is it doubling? So this is why I fixed it. Cool. Just go right through it. Boom. So Social Security. So the Social Security Act passed in 1935 with President Roosevelt. When it was created, it was based off of the expected birth rates and life expectancy. So for instance, for every 42 people, what is Social Security really? A lot of people get Social Security when they get ready to retire. They're able to pull their Social Security at age 70, age 72. So for every 42 people who put their money into Social Security, one person was taken out of it. And the retirement age was 65 years old. Life expectancy back in the day was 62. So if you're able to start pulling out Social Security at what time, what age, whatever it may be, their life expectancy was 62. So do you really think that Social Security was used for your advantage, or did they hope that you never had to get access to it? So program admins anticipated and hoped you wouldn't live long enough to even receive Social Security. So imagine if you're paying into Social Security your entire life and you passed away and you never even received the Social Security. Who keeps it? So it was an advantage for who? If you did make it to age 65 in hopes you would only receive Social Security for just a few years. They hope that you would only receive it for literally just a few years. And then after that, they can keep all that money that you put into that pot for 40 years. Social Security was never intended to be a retirement program. It was more insurance if you live too long. Okay. So how can we reach out? How can we help clients like this to help figure out how we can help them with their Social Security? How can we do that? We got to get in front of people. How's the best way to get in front of people? To recruit new markets. Imagine if you have 25 new people on the list, and you're able to sit down with them and talk with them about Social Security and help them and bring value to them. The more value you bring, the more policies that you're able to write, the more your points increase. Okay, so here's a quick breakdown. Here's a quick structure. It's actually from the book. So this is the trust fund balance beginning in 1990 and where they expect it to be by year 2030. Okay, so for a lot of people that are thinking that I'm gonna have Social Security every single year for the rest of my life, by year 2030, they expected for the Social Security pot to deplete and end. That means no more Social Security. So that means your moms, your dads retiring right now, 2030. There's expected to be no Social Security. So how will that affect somebody's family? If they have $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 coming in from Social Security, and by year 2030, it just exhausts. It's going to be a lot of pain and heartache for a lot of families. And that's what is happening right now, because so many people are putting into Social Security, but many more are pulling out of it. Many more are pulling out of it. So, okay, here's another slide here of tax dollar to tax dollar. So this is from 2016 and 2020, what it's projected to be. Okay, you see Medicare, Medicaid, and the interest on the national debt. You see that out of all of that, the dollars spent on Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and interest on national debt, we're at about 82% of the entirety of the funds of the government. By year 2020, it's projected to be 92. Well, it's 2020. Guess what just happened? We took out a lot of money from this pandemic, a lot of money from this pandemic. So who is going to be affected at the end? Who's going to be affected at the end? Us as Americans, by taxes, by IRS. Okay, that is what's going to happen. That is exactly what's going to happen. Okay, taxes. You can see here, taxes. This is another top marginal tax rate from the years of 1916 all the way to 2018, and you're seeing how taxes were going up, and down. So really, at the end of the day, will taxes ever stay the same? They will never stay the same. You see here from 1932 all the way to 1980 how high taxes were. In 1956, people were paying 90% on taxes. You made $1, they took 90% of it. Top marginal tax. And that was based off your income, basically. So if you made under $100,000, you were taxed at a different rate. If you made over $250,000, you were taxed at 90%. That's crazy. Crazy. Okay, for skeptics in the room, in 1960 to 1963, the lowest marginal tax rate was at 20%. Middle was 69, and the highest was 91%. 91%. For those of you that don't study history, it's destined to repeat itself. It's definitely destined to repeat itself. Okay, so there's 3 tax brackets that we talk about all the time. We talk about tax never, tax later, and then the third tax bucket is one that we're gonna go over in a second. So here's the tax now, tax later, and then tax never. What's tax now? A taxable bucket. Let's think of like a CD, stocks, bonds, mutual funds. What's the beauty about stocks, bonds, and mutual funds? So let's go to a CD. What is a CD? Certificate of deposit. You get it from a bank account. Let's say you put $100,000 in a CD in a bank account. The beauty about CDs a long time ago, they had a good interest rate. They were safe. People put their money in the CDs because it won't lose any money. The bad thing about CDs right now is 2% growth on your money is not enough because inflation is going up. A bag of chips right now, I say this all the time, man. I remember when a bag of chips was 99 cents. Anybody remember when a bag of chips was 99 cents? A bag of hot Cheetos. Anybody ever go to the store, walk to the store, you had your $1 or you had 99 pennies? I know I'm not the only one. You had 99 pennies.
I remember that.
Who was that?
Carla.
Carla, you had 99 pennies.
Little. I was a little girl when that was.
Man, little. I'll go to the store all the time. I'll climb up on the counter. We had this little piggy bank and grab 99 pennies and cling, 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 walk into the store because you didn't have a car. Now a bag of chips is like basically double that. It's basically double that. So the cost of living is going up. So let's say a certificate of deposit. You have $100,000 in a certificate of deposit. Let's say it gets 2% growth on your money annually. You're going to get $2,000. Not bad. Not bad. Okay. At the end of the year, you have to pay federal and state taxes, though, on that $2,000. You're going to have to pay federal and state taxes on that interest growth on your money. So that's the 2%. So let's say you have to pay taxes on the 2%. That $2,000 gets added to your annual income because you now have to pay taxes. Tax at a marginal rate. We have federal taxes, and then we have state for anybody that's in taxes. We have federal taxes and we have state. You see, federal taxes is typically 24%. State taxes is typically 60%. So you're going to get taxed 30% of that total 2,000. Okay, of that total 2,000, you'll have to pay Uncle Sam basically $600, and you'll profit $1,400. So imagine you just save your money for an entire year, and Uncle Sam just took $600 of your money. Well, that happens for everybody, by the way. That happens for everybody. Okay, after taxes, your return is really only 1.4% growth on your money. So do you think your American dollar can keep up every single year if you only get 1.4% growth on your money? So what we're going through. So this is why CD is a good account. It's just not the best to accumulate growth for your money. Richest man in the world, which actually I believe is like second or third, because Jeff Bezos just came out of nowhere and just billion. So he said, if I can get 6% on my money, if I can get 6% on my money every single year, I'm good to go. Imagine if you get 1.4%. It's not enough. It's not enough. So that is a taxable bucket here, a certificate of deposit. Okay. Next tax bracket. Tax deferred. Tax deferred. The beauty about tax deferred is you pay taxes later. The negative is you pay taxes later. So say for instance, you have a 401k. You got $500,000 in there, $300,000 in there. It's looking juicy. It's like, woo, we got $500,000 in this 401k. You do, but don't think that you have $500,000 in that 401k. You have not paid taxes yet. So say for instance, you have $100,000 in there and you put an additional $10,000 into your 401k, your new taxable income is going to be $90,000. It's going to be $90,000, AKA Uncle Sam will catch you later. Uncle Sam will catch you later. So distributions from your 401k then become what is called ordinary income. They're now called something called ordinary income. Uncle Sam has your retirement plan in their hands basically and take taxes however they want. So right now, we do this all the time when we do BOMs and we talk about the 401k and you have $500,000 in there and if something was to happen, you want to pull that money out, you have to get taxed first. You have to get taxed first. So imagine 30 to 50% of your taxes being taken out. You have $500,000 in there and boom, Uncle Sam just taxes you 50%. It drops to $250,000. You just lost $250,000. Like who's going to be mad that they just lost $250,000? I'd be livid. But that's taxes. So if anyone has a 401k and they think that they have 70, 80, 90, 100, 200, 300, a million in there, got to pay those taxes first. Is this a true retirement vehicle or is it a loan? You're putting money in there. It goes up to $500,000. Like, whoo, all right, cool. We just loaned you your money. We'll give it back to you. We're going to keep some of it. Thank you so much for saving your money. Thank you so much for saving your money. That is a 401k. That was a 401k. Okay. And then the last tax bucket is, before we go into that, actually, I'm going to give a few more points on it. IRS can wait to tax you. By age 70 and a half, you will be forced to take out something called RMDs, required minimum distributions. So at age 70 and a half, if you have a 401k, an IRA, you have $500,000 in there, $600,000 in there, $700,000 in there. If you don't pull any money out by age 72, you will get taxed on your money. You will get taxed for not pulling your own money out. How crazy does that sound? And I learned this in this industry. When this guy came and he trained us and he was like, if you don't pull your own money out, you get taxed. I'm like, what? If you don't pull out your money from your 401k by age 70 and a half, and you take out the required minimum distributions that the IRS, the government, makes you take out, you will get taxed. So if you forget about RMDs, IRS will do what's called an excise tax, AKA 50% of your RMDs will be taxed. 50% of your RMD. So let's say your RMD is $20,000. Or actually, I have an example. Okay, cool. So let's say that if you were supposed to pull out $20,000, but you didn't, because your required minimum distribution is from your 401k is $20,000 every single year, you forgot to do it. Your tax advisor, whatever it may be, your financial advisor forgot to tell you, you didn't know about it. You'll receive a bill for $10,000. That's crazy. Imagine you have $20,000 you were supposed to take out and you didn't take it out. And they said, well, because you didn't take it out, go and give us half of it, which doesn't include, by the way, the taxes that you were already supposed to pay, which are federal and state. You're already supposed to pay 30%. Remember, we talked about it the last slide. Your 401k is going to be taxed about 30%, 30 to 50%. So imagine if you don't take out your taxes, you get taxed 50%, and on top of that 30%, you just got taxed 80% of your money. 80% of your money. So imagine if you get taxed 80% of $20,000, you just lost $16,000. $16,000 in a snap of the finger. That's how quick, if you don't pull out your RMDs, can happen. So you definitely got to talk with your clients about if they're reaching their ages and they don't know. A lot of people do not know what RMDs are, by the way. A lot of people will have their 401ks and not pull money out. Some people will because they need access to the money. But if they pull out $17,000, they get taxed. If they pull out $18,000, they'll get taxed. You have to pull out $20,000 to miss out on the RMDs. Okay. Provisional income. Provisional income is what the IRS determines can be taxed on your Social Security. So imagine if you're getting Social Security every single year, you're using this for retirement, and you don't know what provisional income is. Example, a common source of provisional income could be half your Social Security income. It could be any of your distributions from your 401k. It could be any 1099 or tax bucket. It could be any type of employment income. It could be any type of rental income. And it also could be interest from municipal bonds. Okay. So let's look at an example of provisional income. The IRS adds up all provisional income on marital status. So if you're married, if you're single, it makes a huge difference. It makes a huge difference, okay? So here's two different examples. Here's joint provisional income for married couples, and then there's individual provisional income for single people. Let's say that your provisional income is under $32,000. The percentage of Social Security is subject to be taxed at 0%. So your Social Security has to be under $32,000 for you not to be taxed. If it's over $32,000, you're going to get taxed up to 50% of your Social Security. And if it's over $44,000, you're going to get taxed up to 85% of your Social Security. Imagine getting taxed over 85% of your Social Security. And then individual, if it's under 25,000, is 0%. If it's over 25,000, it's 50%. And if it's over 34,000, 85%. So what's better to do to get more money? You got to get married. It's crazy. That's why people get married. A lot of people get married for love. A lot of people get married for different things. Okay. But this helps you have more money from not being taxed. Okay. Provisional income. So provisional income, I'll give an example of Jack and Jill. Let's say that they have $30,000 in a Social Security that they're getting every single year. Basically, they're getting about $15,000 each. They take $80,000 from their IRA annually. So they pull out $80,000 from a individual retirement account. The IRS determines their provisional income. And I gave an example, different examples of provisional income. Let's say of half of their Social Security, which is $15,000. They have $30,000 of Social Security. Half of it is $15,000, and $80,000 of the IRA distributions. That's a total of $95,000 total. That puts them at a tax bracket. Go back to that sheet I just showed you. That puts them at a tax bracket of 85%. So if they're pulling out $80,000 of their IRA and they're using $30,000 of Social Security, IRS is going to do something called provisional income. So if they have $30,000 of Social Security, Uncle Sam's going to tax them half of that. So that makes about $25,500 of their Social Security taxable. Keep in mind, you have to pay federal taxes also, because they took too much money out of their individual retirement account. So imagine if you're trying to retire and live a good life, you don't know what provisional income is. You're pulling out too much money, and Uncle Sam just taxes you on your Social Security. That's provisional income. Okay. And I already went over this. And the last one, okay, the last one is tax never. We love the tax never. It's tax now, tax later, tax never, tax never. And we talk about this all the time. Where do a lot of wealthy people love to accumulate their money? In tax never accounts. Why would you ever want to pay taxes? But a lot of people don't know about it. So money distributed from a tax-free bucket can count as provisional income. Okay. So let's say, for instance, Roth IRAs, life insurance, cash value, life insurance, retirement planning. These cannot be taxed for provisional income. So we got to talk with our clients and we got to let them know. We got to recruit. We got to recruit really at the end of the day. We got to recruit as many people as possible and let them know there's a potential way for you to not have to worry about provisional income. If you don't understand provisional income, that little nugget right there can close a major policy for you, major max funded IUL, because you tell them that you won't be taxed on this money. So example, let's give an example of a individual retirement account, 59.5. You take distributions, tax-free from federal, state, and capital gains. I'm speaking Swahili to some people. It's okay. It was Swahili to me at some point in time too. But this is good stuff to learn. It's good stuff to learn. Life insurance, a max-funded IUL. These are tax-free accounts where you do not have to pay taxes, where you do not have to pay taxes. So when people say you could be tax never, yes, you could be tax never. Tax now, tax later, tax never. Okay, tax now, tax later, tax never. So I just wanted to go over that with you guys. Let me stop the share here. I wanted to go over that with you guys. That's the book, Power of Zero. Every time I read it, like I learn something new. I learn something new every single time. I learn about our products and services. I learn about how to talk with clients, how to help them with 401ks, how to help them with retirement accounts, how to help them with different things to help them save their money. And we are by far in the best industry. And the only way that we can do it is by the most people that we recruit, the most markets that we step into, the most people that we're able to help service our products and services, help them understand provisional income, help them with their Social Security. If you bring value like that to people, do you think they're not going to bring you more clients? Now you're accumulating more clients. Now you have access to more markets. Now you have access to more people. I know 12 people that have annuities. I know 12 people that have 401ks. Can you help them? Yes, of course we could help them. Yes, of course we can help them. But that starts with the recruiting aspect. So we got to get the recruiting numbers up to get into those markets, because a lot of people are not educated on provisional income, ordinary income, money that can be taxed, money that can't be taxed, Social Security. A lot of people are unprepared for this, because how many people learned about this in school? Raise your hand. Go ahead and hit through these couple of slides. I ain't see anybody raise a hand here. So nobody's teaching anybody about this. That's why we're here. So the best way to do it is for us to go and recruit. The best way to do it is to hit President's Club. The best way to do it is to build an agency so we can now reach more people. Because if you just sit down with one client and you go over this, it's great. They give you 3 referrals, or you can recruit 10 people and have 25 new phone numbers to call per person. And now we have more people to help. So hopefully that made sense. I hope it brought a little value to you guys. Hopefully I helped you out understand provisional income, 3 types of tax brackets, more in detail about it. Appreciate you. You guys have a good one.
Come on, Joe. Come on, baby.
Joe, I think it was so valuable, bro. Can we have some agents ask some questions?
Oh,
Can
100%.
you take some questions?
100%.
All right, let's open it up for questions, guys. That was phenomenal.
Joe?
Thank you so much.
Joe,
Yes.
you hear me? This is Denise.
Denise.
Because I'm in all those brackets. Didn't the age
I'm in all-
change? Do you see
I'm
me?
in all
Hear
of
me?
I can't hear you.
Didn't the age change from 70 and a half?
For the
Didn't it go higher
to
for
72.
the RMD?
I believe you have to pull it out by 72.
72. That's what I'm saying. Thank you.
100%.
It's been adjusted for COVID. So like for 1 year only, it's been adjusted to where they raised it, but they do look to it to go back down to 70 and a half once COVID is over. But it has been raised.
Correct. Yep.
Cool. Any other questions?
Hey, Joe, this is Ron. Question for you on the book. How many times have you read that book?
It's probably like maybe 3 or 4.
Okay.
Maybe 3 or 4.
And
It's
you
always
say
good
you
to read,
keep
because I forget it sometimes. And I'm like, yeah, I did forget about the provisional income. So.
And is there anything else that you recommend for us to become more proficient at this, book-wise?
I just read, let me go to my Audible, which actually I just logged out of it. I read a book about finance. It really dives into life insurance. Like it really dives into, I can't remember the name of the book, I apologize, but it dives into, like, it's crazy. Bank of America, Chase, Wells Fargo, they have $10 billion life insurance policies, $18 billion life insurance policies, $20 billion life insurance policies. So what do you think they're doing with your money? Why do you think you're not getting interest, but they're still accumulating money? How do they have billions of dollars? They have billions of dollars of life insurance. They put it into cash value. They accumulate, they grow your money at interest rate, and then they pull your money out and give it back to you at 0% interest. I was like, wow.
I gotta know what that book is, man. I gotta know. I gotta know.
It's
I
this
can't-
one. It's
apologize.
this
Money,
one,
wealth,
guys.
and life insurance. Is that
Wealth
it,
and
Joe?
life insurance. Yes, sir.
Money, wealth, and life
Hey,
insurance.
do we have that one?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Getting
sir.
it. Thank you.
Mhm. Appreciate you, Sylvia. Appreciate you. Joel had it up too. I'm like, it's crazy. Like, and then when people sit here and they talk about Primerica and they talk about not have, I'm like, you're out of your mind. Do you not know that? I'm pretty sure you've been to Disneyland. I'm pretty sure you watched Moana. I'm pretty sure you watched all these movies. Like, do you know that without life insurance, it wouldn't even been here? Crazy. So like, I have so much confidence sitting down with people about this permanent IUL, how to max fund it, but you have to do it correctly because it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody.
There's also hundreds of companies that use life insurance as assets. Like there's like hundreds of them, and they're big name. Panera Bread. Who would have thought that
Panera
they use
Bread,
life insurance
yeah.
to?
Yeah,
It's
Verizon, AT&T,
Yes.
a lot of billion-dollar
many.
companies, million-dollar companies use life insurance. So why would your client not?
That's
Why would
right.
your client not? Yes.
I've been reading, Coach. I've been reading.
Hey,
Any other
Joe.
questions?
Hey, Joe, I had a comment. This is Kenny. One of the questions that I asked folks is,
Closer to the house.
one of the questions I asked folks is I asked them, where do they save their money, right? So where do you save your money, Joe? Besides the IUL?
Besides the IUL?
Yep.
So what do you mean where do I save it?
Where do you put it? Where you store it?
Oh, so where do I like my personal?
Yeah.
Okay, got you. So yeah, in the IUL, of course, one, and then I started off the $100 annuity.
Okay. And do
As
you
well to accumulate something.
save your money in the bank?
Do I save it in the bank? I mean, of course, I have money in there because it's liquid.
Perfect. Do you know where the bank saves their money?
What would you mean by that? Where they save it?
Where the banks save their money.
They will-
So
Go ahead.
This is the question that I asked folks because many people don't know this question. So in 2008, 2009, when the banks were crashing, Congress called an emergency meeting before they did the bailout, and they asked 5 top bank executives where they keep their tier 1 cash assets. And you
Okay.
know what they said?
What does that?
It said cash value life insurance.
Got you.
So my question to the
Okay.
average person is, where do you save your money? And normally they'll say the banks, and then you ask them, okay, well, where do the banks save their money? And then you tell them they save it in cash value life insurance. If you pull up any bank's annual statement for the previous year, you'll see that they have 3 to 4 more times assets saved in cash value life insurance than they even have in real estate. So wouldn't it make sense, Mr. Smith, that you have and do what the banks do with your money? You do it with your own.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I wanted to share that with you guys because many people don't know that. Go ahead and pull up your banks because Sylvia was saying companies have it. Go ahead and pull up your bank's annual statement from last year. It's public record. It's out there for you, and you'll see a line for line where they have their assets, and you'll see like Bank of America may have $270 billion in cash value life insurance. Just a little nugget I wanted to share that with you guys since we were talking about it.
That's how they grow the money, wealth, and life insurance. Cool. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Okay.
Yes, please. I had a question. My question is about annuities. What would you suggest? Like, what would you recommend for me learning more about annuities? And
What-
like, do you have a specific product or carrier that you like to use when it comes to annuities?
It depends. It depends on how you're trying to do it. Really, if you're trying to start one or if you already have money. So it would depend.
Yeah, both. So even what you were just saying about you putting that $100 in the annuity every month, it sounds like that's not an old one, right? That's an annuity that you started.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So what would you suggest for me to learn more about those, that type of stuff,
You can
just in order to be a better
Uh,
producer?
the companies do, by the way, the companies do training on all products and services, really. So like if you go to those company trainings, they train on how the annuities work, they train on them, they train on everything. And so you sit there and you call them. That's how I learned everything. You sit there and call them, you talk with them, you ask them 1,000 questions. That's why they get paid. And you ask what would be the best product for me for someone this age. And the person that you call, they get paid to break down the entire policy to you. So I would say call the company.
Yeah, I would also recommend for Champagne
There's a woman in the corporate office named Lauren Nutt. She assigns all the training from the carriers, and Mark Molina puts on excellent learning seminars for annuities. Mark Molina.
Yeah, Mark Molina did one yesterday actually at 10 a.m. As well. So it's always, it's like they come out of nowhere. They come out of nowhere like, oh, annuity training Wednesday. Like, so you just got to be on top of them.
Got it. Thank you so much for that.
We actually have a calendar that I can share that when the annuity trainings are coming up, BSCs and MDs have access to when the trainings are, because they have it in the calendar. So I can make sure I'm sharing that for you guys so that you have access to that.
Yes, sis. Thank you.
Cool. Any other questions? Everybody good? Going once? Going twice?